Welcome to another episode of Fast Business, the show where we look at interesting business topics every episode. I'm your host Ifti and I'm joined by Adil.
Hello.
Today we are going to be talking about outsourcing. More specifically, how the Y2K bug actually played a part in the whole outsourcing craze. So what is outsourcing? To put it simply, it is the contracting out of a business process to a third party. In a more day-to-day example, let's say when internet service provider transfers calls relating to tech support to another external company to help you solve your problem if they can. Now these days, big businesses are getting various aspects of their business done offshore because it's cheaper for them and they can get in and out of contracts easily, and a host of various other reasons of profit over quality. It was estimated that in 2011, global outsourcing itself generated revenue in excess of $370 billion. And by 2016, that figure is going to touch $480 billion. Now that's a lot of money. So how did the growth start? Well, to discuss that, let's start with the Y2K. So what is Y2K, you ask? Well, back in the days when data storage was really expensive, going as far back as the 50s or 60s, they decided to record years using 2 digits. Such as 1971 would be described or recorded, I would say, as just 71. The problem was that the year 2000 was approaching. According to the old systems, they could only record the last 2 numbers, which could be just 0 and 0, which could mean 1900 or 2000 or even 2100 for that matter. So the old codes have to be revised in order to accommodate 4 digits for the year. This was not very intellectually stimulating work. Someone had to go through lines and lines of code, which was rather laborsome. That sounds like a lot of work actually. When it comes to spending money on something that will not make the corporations any additional money, they're a bit of a tight ass sometimes. So a lot of the big organizations looked for cheaper ways of getting those codes revised, and they found a few IT firms in India who were way too willing to do work for the big US organizations. Excellent. That actually fixed that Y2K problem. Yay! But something bad happened after that. In September 2002, the stock market crashed. It was the dot-com bubble popping. See, the thing was that people were investing on just about anything .com. The recipe for disaster, you say. Well, you're right actually. A lot of those .com companies were not making any real profit, so the share prices were really high. A lot of organizations went bankrupt and the rivers of flowing investment dried up. People's confidence on making a quick buck on the back of technology startups was broken. Many of technology companies did survive, however, and they needed to go on with the project they already had on board. Imagine things from their point of view. Difficult market conditions. Number 2, many big corporations just went under, and one slip, one wrong step, and the game is over for them. Number 3, competitors are now more aggressive than ever because they are in the same boat too. Now to get their projects completed with as much saving was really imperative. Thus, what they did notice was all too appealing again. A lot of the design and architectural things were done onshore, while the simple coding was sent off to offshore third parties. This arrangement was a win-win for both. Now there's another side of the story that we need to look at. In the year 1998 in India, a national task force on information technology and software development, that was heavy, was formed by the request of the Prime Minister. In about 10 months' time, the task force made a lot of recommendations to the Prime Minister, who agreed to almost all of them. How good is that? The recommendation included opening of internet gateway access, encouragement for private sector software technology parks, STPs as they call it, zero customer and excise duty on IT software, income tax exemption to software and service exports, encouragement to set up venture capital funds, and of course lots of other really good stuff. Man, talk about good timing. While near the end of 1998, India was gearing up for their IT sector. .com bubble bursts in 2012. One is ready to give the services and the other needs those services at that lower price. Thus, getting work done overseas became the thing. Outsourcing became the bee's knees. This did not limit itself to just programming, by the way. As time passed, outsourcing spread to various levels, be it call centers or specialists working at a design level. India was not alone at this. Other nations including Russia and Philippines were also in that race too. And the thing is, now that everyone is doing this is the norm. Lowering the cost of production or services is just not an optional thing. Besides, call centers operating 24/7 at 1/10 the cost is a proposition too tasty to miss. And thus, at this stage, the total revenue of all these outsourcing exceeds $370 billion, and those who has even a little chunk of the pie is big. In the book about globalization, The World is Flat, the author Thomas Friedman describes Infosys as a city of glass and steel, or something along those lines. Interesting book, that one. Infosys started with about $250 equivalent and today has an equity of $8.33 billion. Oh boy, that's pretty massive. Tata Consultancy Services, of course you might have heard that name. Another giant has equity of about $7.66 billion, but they own assets of over $54 billion. And its parent company Tata Group, of course you might know as well, has total asset of over $100 billion, and they bought Jaguar and Land Rover, and of course they make their own cars too. Also, let's not forget the little ones. In websites like Odesk, freelance.com, Elance, etc., anyone can hire an individual or a company providing various services from all over the world. Alright, now let's quickly recap in 5 seconds. Storage was costly once upon a time. Revision work was needed for Y2K. Programmers are cheaper overseas. Now let's get them to fix the Y2K. And then the dot-com bubble bursts. Programmers are still cheaper overseas. Get them to work for us and save money. They realize it's cheaper overseas. Now moved all the call centers there too. And of course, $370 billion total revenue. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you have enjoyed this one. We'll be back again with another Fast Business episode, so please make sure you subscribe, and if you like this episode, please hit that like button and don't forget to share as well. Hope to see you all in the next video. Bye for now.